The Impossible Technology of the Great Pyramid, Episode 3, The Giza Files. For more than 4,000 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has stood in silence. Not as a ruin, not as a relic of a forgotten age, but as a structure so precise, so mathematically exact, that even today, with all our modern machines, we still struggle to explain how it was built. This is not a story of myths. This is not a story of gods or aliens. This is a story of engineering and the uncomfortable questions that engineering raises. Because when we remove legend and symbolism and examine the Great Pyramid as a physical object, a machine made of stone, something becomes clear. The technology required to build it does not fit comfortably into the historical timeline we are taught. Precision beyond the primitive world. The Great Pyramid is constructed from over 2.3 million stone blocks. Most weigh between 2 and 3 tons. Some weigh over 70 tons. These blocks are not roughly stacked. They are cut, shaped, and placed with extreme precision. The casing stones, now mostly gone, were once polished limestone blocks fitted so tightly together that a razor blade could not slide between them. The joints are thinner than a millimeter. This level of precision is not decorative. It is structural. Modern builders achieve this accuracy using laser-guided saws, diamond-tipped blades, and computer-controlled machining. Ancient Egypt, according to conventional history, possessed none of these. They had copper tools. Copper is softer than granite. Yet inside the pyramid, we find granite blocks cut with flatness and smoothness that rival modern industrial standards. This is not opinion, it is measurement. The granite problem. Granite is one of the hardest natural stones on Earth. It ranks between 6 and 7 on the Mohs hardness scale. Copper ranks at 3. Even today, granite is cut using diamond abrasives. Diamond is the hardest known material, and yet, the ancient builders cut granite with astonishing accuracy. Inside the king's chamber, massive granite blocks are cut so precisely that they meet at perfect right angles. The surfaces are flat within fractions of a millimeter. No tool marks consistent with primitive sawing have been found. Instead, we see patterns suggesting advanced abrasion techniques. Experiments attempting to recreate these cuts using ancient tools have consistently failed to achieve the same precision. This raises a difficult question. If they did not have the tools we use today, then what tools did they use? Transporting the impossible. Cutting the stone is only the beginning. The granite used in the Great Pyramid came from Aswan, over 800 kilometers away. Some blocks weigh as much as 70 tons. Modern cranes struggle to lift stones of this size. Transporting them requires reinforced vehicles, steel cables, and heavy machinery. The ancient explanation is simple: sledges, ropes, and manpower. But when engineers calculate the forces involved, the numbers become problematic. To move a 70-ton block on a wooden sledge across uneven terrain would require hundreds of people pulling in perfect coordination. The ground would need to be prepared, lubricated, and constantly maintained. And yet, no large-scale infrastructure for such transport has been found. No massive ramps. No clear evidence of roads capable of handling repeated 70-ton loads. This does not mean transport was impossible, but it does mean it was far more complex than often presented. The alignment that should not exist. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with an error of less than 0.05 degrees. This is more accurate than many modern buildings. True north is not magnetic north. It cannot be found with a compass. To determine true north with such accuracy requires advanced astronomical observation and long-term measurement. The pyramid's alignment suggests not just knowledge of the stars, but mastery of them. Its sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions. The error is so small that it challenges even modern surveying techniques. This was not achieved accidentally. It required a system, a method, and repeatable precision. Geometry embedded in stone. The geometry of the Great Pyramid reveals ratios that appear again and again. The relationship between its height and base closely matches the mathematical constant pi. Its proportions align with the golden ratio. These relationships are not exact to infinite precision, but they are close enough to suggest intentional design. This implies mathematical knowledge far beyond simple counting or measurement. It suggests abstraction, conceptual geometry. The pyramid behaves like a three-dimensional mathematical expression carved into stone. Why? Why embed mathematics into a structure supposedly built as a tomb? Internal engineering. Inside the Great Pyramid, engineering becomes even more mysterious. The Grand Gallery is a corbelled passage rising over 8 meters high, with walls angled inward in a way that distributes weight perfectly. Above the king's chamber, 5 relieving chambers are stacked one above another. Each chamber reduces pressure from the massive stone above. This is sophisticated structural engineering. It shows a deep understanding of load distribution, stress management, and long-term stability. The builders were not experimenting. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they did it on the first attempt. There are no collapsed versions, no failed prototypes. The Great Pyramid was built correctly the first time, a machine, not a monument. When engineers study the Great Pyramid without historical assumptions, a pattern emerges. It behaves less like a monument and more like a system. Air shafts, pressure relief spaces, weight distribution chambers, precise geometry. Everything serves a purpose. Nothing is decorative. This raises an uncomfortable possibility. What if the Great Pyramid was not primarily symbolic? What if it was functional? This does not mean it generated energy or transmitted signals. Those claims require evidence not yet proven. But it does mean the structure was designed with engineering priorities, not ritual ones. Tombs do not require this level of precision. The absence of explanation. Perhaps the most telling detail is not what we find, but what we do not. There are no records describing the construction process. No detailed plans. No step-by-step accounts. For a civilization known for recording everything, this silence is strange. We know how temples were built. We know how statues were carved. But the most ambitious structure ever attempted was left undocumented. Unless the knowledge was not meant to be preserved, or unless it came from a time before records, modern replication attempts. Multiple modern experiments have attempted to recreate pyramid construction techniques using ancient tools. Some aspects can be approximated, most cannot. Precision is lost. Efficiency collapses. Scale becomes impossible. The conclusion is always the same. We can build pyramids today, but not in the same way, and not with the same precision. The question that refuses to go away: the Great Pyramid exists. Its measurements are real. Its stones are real. Its precision is measurable. We do not need speculation to acknowledge the problem. The problem is this: the technology implied by the Great Pyramid does not align with the technological profile of ancient Egypt as we understand it. This does not mean history is wrong, but it does mean history is incomplete. A gap in the timeline. Some researchers suggest lost techniques. Others suggest forgotten knowledge passed down through generations. Some propose that ancient Egypt inherited technology from an earlier civilization. None of these ideas require fantasy. They require only one thing: that human history is longer, more complex, and less linear than we assume. The pyramid remains silent. The Great Pyramid does not explain itself. It does not boast. It does not clarify. It simply stands, perfectly aligned, perfectly measured, unwilling to conform to our expectations. Every attempt to explain it using simple tools creates more questions than answers. And perhaps that is the point. The uncomfortable truth. The Great Pyramid forces us to confront a difficult idea: that advanced knowledge can be lost, that progress is not guaranteed, that civilizations rise, peak, and forget. If that is true, then the Great Pyramid is not a mystery. It is a warning. Closing. In the next episode, we ask an even more dangerous question. If the technology behind the Great Pyramid does not belong to known Egyptian history, then who built it and when?